Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Listen here, this is a fact of life. I be rapping like Nat Turner came back to life. Grab Donald Trump by the pussy, he ain't acting right. I never run from a conflict, I be glad to fight. It's a very cold world that we live in. Somebody please tell Elizabeth you're not an Indian. You just trying to con them people to get the benefit. Just another immigrant, stealing from the Indians. That's some punk ass shit and that's too lame. Now we finna step over to Andrew Yang. And you a sucker, you could never speak for black folks. Fake ass pandemic, trying to get the black vote. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You know your boy be high off sativa. Kamala wasn't popping, so we said bye, Felicia. She ain't had a right policy. We ain't trying to meet her. Y'all can take Biden too. Bye, we don't need him. We don't need Roland Martin or that coon Al Sharpton. Didn't need Cory Booker from the start, man. I don't fuck with police and no snitch. You know I'm coming with the heat when I spit it. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. If you ever go to court and this is your luck, try not to get fucked by Benjamin Crump. I know it's hard. You and go is hard. But who the fuck is Amy Cloak? Put her picture up on the bullseye and start throwing darts. People cut our organs out our bodies, that's a stolen heart. They can't save us from the flood like Noah's Ark. Black lives always matter, we finna go for ours. So then we savages, we don't need to pot the piss. Mike Bloomberg can suck dick with that stop and frisk. Bitch, you ain't speaking for us, we don't know you. Bernie Sanders, they get your funky ass on too. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me, speak for me.
I'm talking about Shawty going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to keep us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water like the 7 million. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. Man make them happy because man make them strong. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world.
decorum is the order of the day. We caught up with him on his way into the day, told us that everyone will be on their best behavior, but we will have to see whether or not that actually.
And Speaker Johnson, we will be going over the State of the Union address, as you can see on the screen, for 2024. And what are Black people going to get from this administration if, God forbid, we were to vote him in another term? So thank y'all for watching the 2024 State of the Union presidential address. It's getting ready to start, so I'm going to share my screen. And fair use, YouTube. No problems out of you. Got the copyright scrolling. And thanks to Lady Che, we have this. Okay, let's see. Can y'all see the screen? On my mind, it looks like I can't tell if I can see the screen. Good evening, Deacon and Quinn, or whoever else is in here. I think it's just going to be me tonight because Lady Che is really sick and Shabaka is on the road. And you see, there's Bernie Sanders and his wife. Next to him is Warlock. Nope, I can't see Al. Change it so y'all can see it. And now I'm gonna look at where y'all can hear it because I think I got it muted. Back up. Oh, there's Katanja.
It's really hard to underscore just how significant this night will be for President Biden.
This is a huge and massively critical and pivotal moment for this president. He knows it. The White House knows it. The campaign certainly knows it. Look, he is down in the polls to Donald Trump. He is facing these persistent concerns about his age. He certainly knows well that everyone is paying attention tonight, not just to what he is saying, but to how he is saying it. His challenge here is now to take advantage of this massive audience, perhaps the largest he'll have all year, to try and change the public perception. He has to sell skeptical voters on his accomplishments and also show the American people that he is up for another 4 years. I mean, bottom line, he has to bring it in this speech. Now, the campaign feels that at this point in the campaign, the American people aren't truly dialed into the race. They haven't fully registered yet that we're heading for this Biden-Trump rematch. They know these men, but the Biden team feels the American people are suffering from what they call Trump amnesia. This is the president's chance to change some of that. I'm told he won't call out Donald Trump by name, but it will be very clear who he is talking about as he lays out their very different visions for the future of this country, David.
So, Mary, not expected to draw on Donald Trump's name during this speech, but very likely to draw on contrasts between these two men as he moves through the night. And it's my understanding he wants to do it while at the same time respecting the chamber.
He has to strike the right tone here. First of all, remember, this is a format which Joe Biden is very comfortable. He relished his time in the Senate and in Congress. He feels very comfortable in this environment, and he certainly respects Congress. And he also wants to strike a respectful tone, even as he's going to pressure Republicans to call them out on certain issues, especially on things like immigration. He also, of course, is doing this at a time that he's trying to court Republican voters to come to his side.
Second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, entering the chamber. The Vice President, Kamala Harris, up there. President, as she always does, but along with a new speaker this time, Speaker Mike Johnson. Of course, it was Kevin McCarthy a year ago. It was House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for the first address to a joint session of Congress. There, he's likely waving to his wife at the podium, and perhaps Mike Johnson as well. They're both up there together. Martha Raddatz, this is also a House chamber that hasn't always been welcoming. We had that moment last year with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And in particular, the Republicans in the House have really halted a couple of key the president has tried to accomplish just in recent weeks. Aid to Ukraine looms large. They have halted that, saying you must act on the border first. Then the president encouraged Senate Republicans and Democrats to get that bill in front of them. They prepared a bipartisan border bill, a very heavy security. He said he was ready to sign it, and then the House torpedoed it.
They torpedoed it because Donald Trump wanted it torpedoed. He wants this to be an election issue. He believes this is his issue and that he can dominate on that issue. And we talk about decorum. We've got First Lady coming in there now, David.
Whoa. Entering the chamber here tonight, Jill Biden, who has taken a more significant role just in recent days, Mary Bruce, in this campaign, a signal that she's going to be out there fighting for her husband too.
She absolutely will. She is, of course, his closest, most critical advisor, someone who's behind his race again 100%, and his most important and top surrogate. She is going to be out on the campaign trail heavily, I suspect, in the coming months, David.
Here's the gavel here. Speaker Mike Johnson, his first time in this role. Let's listen.
The president's cabinet.
The president's cabinet now entering the room. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. Martha, just to bring you back into this conversation, for Secretary Blinken on the world stage, it has been for many months now, not only with Israel and Gaza, but with Ukraine as well. And again, a lot of questions, even from within their own party, about the humanitarian crisis inside Gaza. The president is expected to make major news tonight on Gaza.
Exactly, and what they want to do is set up a floating dock, a floating pier, so the U.S. can help get aid into Gaza from ships to deliver this very, very critical aid. People are starving to death in Gaza. You saw Secretary Blinken there. He has been so busy. He has been over to the region so many times. You also saw Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin there. We know he had some health problems. He did not tell the president he was in an ICU unit. He has made up for that. He has apologized for that, but they have both been very busy with Gaza, with Ukraine. And as you said, that aid to Ukraine has been blocked, the border bill blocked. We talk about decorum, but the president walks in there with his own red wall of resistance. And this really is, the Republicans are fully aware this is a huge event for President Biden. This is almost the beginning of the campaign for him. So whether they maintain that decorum or not, we'll have to see.
And the question is, how will it be received? Any kind of behavior in this room. The American people often judge this with very different eyes. They're not inside the Beltway here in Washington. They're watching from home. They know this is a deeply divided country. And as we all have heard so often on the trail, a lot of people say, we have a lot more in common than we have that separates us. And often we don't see that in our own lawmakers. So we'll keep that in mind as we move forward and watch this night. Lindsay Davis also with us here at the desk. We're expecting to hear the House Sergeant at Arms any moment as he introduced the president. One of the things I know you've been looking into are the independents, the moderate voters, some of the Nikki Haley supporters just this week who seem to give an indication that they're not necessarily going to vote for the Republican nominee automatically.
Independent voters, as you well know,
that's me,
David, determine the outcome of elections. We've seen it time and time again. In 2020, Joe Biden was able to win those independent voters over in 6 battleground states. The prior election, 2016, Donald Trump was able to win over independent voters in 6 of the battleground states. In particular, tonight, I'm interested in those free agent Nikki Haley voters. And is he going to be able to win them over, perhaps persuade them? Because as you were on Tuesday, we saw that 51% of them said that they actually approve of Joe Biden. 76% said that they oppose abortion bans. And so they are listening. He has to say, and by many stretches of imagination, this is an opening statement for them.
No question about it, Lindsay. And you saw Alejandro Mayorkas, Homeland Security Secretary there moments ago, also into immigration. A key issue tonight. Republicans, as we have here, spent we mentioned border security bill, Republicans and Democrats, the president saying, get it to my desk, I will sign it. only to have House Republicans there in the chamber tonight who halted that bill at Donald Trump's urging. And as Martha points out, that's likely because Donald Trump would like to keep in the
during Tyree Nichols' funeral
as an issue that is front and center come November. Tonight, Mary Bruce, President Biden will likely not shy away from immigration. It seems he recognizes there's an opportunity for him in this moment, too, because he had an historic offer in front of him. Bipartisan Republicans and Democrats in the Senate saying,
we don't remember what the hell has happened in the past 4 years of sleepy Jim Crow.
We are finally ready to work together on this.
For months. Deal and order together those dueling visits. President Biden again trying to up the pressure on Republicans to trying to shift the blame. Asking us to join in this, as we'll hear him again urge Congress to put politics aside to get this border done.
Who has also been a key figure in this administration, under fire from some, given the investigations into Donald Trump, but has made the case that he has done this in an independent fashion. He has stayed far from the special counsels and all of these cases that are hard to track for people at home, I'm sure. He's there in the chamber as well. As you heard Rachel Scott point out, a number of white suits in the chamber tonight. Many of the Democratic lawmakers are wearing them, a signal on reproductive rights. The president putting the blame on Donald Trump in recent days for appointing the justices to the Supreme Court who overturned Roe. The president says, are the ripple effects already being seen across the country? Of course, the debate in in recent days, that state's highest court determining that frozen embryos are in fact people. Clinics and hospitals in Alabama almost immediately halting IVF fertility treatments, the procedures right when women and their husbands and families were in the middle of this process. And there has been a move across this country almost immediately, not only in Alabama, but moving forward in several other states to protect women from this discomfort moving forward. And also in that chamber tonight, Rachel Scott, you spoke with a young woman, a mother and wife in Texas, who became the center of a major national story when doctors determined, and let's listen here at the door, we'll get back to you in a moment.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Thumbs down, tomato, 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 tomato.
Arms introducing President Biden for his State of the Union address. The Senate Majority Schumer behind him, escorting it down their center aisle as he shakes hands with members of both parties, I should say. John Carl, we've watched so many of these, but as Mary Bruce mentioned here earlier, this is the kind of moment that fuels this particular president.
It's almost 10 hours. It's
always a big moment, a big television audience, all the pomp and circumstance. But the truth is, State of the Union addresses are often little noted and long remembered. They don't have a lasting impact. This one, David, tonight, it really feels different. He has a chance to prove to a skeptical country that he has what fitness, the mental fitness.
He doesn't.
Head-to-head in a very brutal long campaign with Donald Trump, and to serve another 5 years as president. Incredibly consequential moment, especially also because how late it's March 7th. It's just after Super Tuesday. Rarely do you see, ever in my lifetime, you see a State of the Union address that actually doubles kickoff for a president.
You mentioned a skeptical audience, John, and I know that you mean that in terms of not only President Biden, but many in this country were skeptical of Donald Trump as well. And we've seen it in the polling. Americans across the country who say we don't want either one of these men running for president. We want other choices. And yet this is where
we do want other choices.
Right now. Which makes the stakes even higher tonight for him to try to convince some of those moderate independent voters that about who he brought over before. The question is, would he be able to do it again?
I mean, you have upwards of 70% of the American public saying that they want that they are about to have. They don't want to see Biden, Trump yet again.
Marjorie Taylor Greene there wearing her Make America Great hat and holding up the pin. We had an idea that Republicans in the House chamber, John, would have pins tonight.
Yeah, wearing pins, lighting failed policy at the border. Look, the decorum issue. So much has changed. I mean, I've been in the chamber for about a dozen of these things, and I fully remember when Obama had a big joint session speech on healthcare, and one single member yelled out, "You lie!" And it was this scandal. How could somebody? And now it's every member is using this as an opportunity to make a moment for themselves.
You know, it sent shockwaves back then, and it should have. You know,
it was quite a moment. It was a single member.
Unfortunately, now it's become a little more of the norm. Marjorie Taylor Greene now.
Well, everybody certainly wasn't letting Marjorie Taylor Greene bother him. I think we talked about decorum. I think wearing a Make America Great hat is played right away. But in so many ways, when we talk about this is not only the State of the Union, this is the state of Joe Biden. Because how does Joe Biden, is he vigorous? Does he have the acuity that everybody's looking for? Last year, as we sat, he gave a very powerful speech, got good marks for that. But again, this is a very different speech at a very different moment when voters are really, really looking at the president, both Democrats and Republicans.
Look at this. This is a patient president at this point, too. He's taking a number of selfies on his way down.
This is classic Joe Biden, by the way. Most presidents, yes, they take their time walking through the chamber. They shake some hands. He's having full-on conversations. He's snapping selfies. I bet if he could, he would place calls to their mother and father. I mean, and he's chatting with everyone along the way.
We should mention
Joe
Manchin not running for re-election had been talked for perhaps a run with no labels or a third party run of some sort. Joe Manchin letting the public know in just recent days that he would not be running for president. He said it was just too dangerous, actually, to run as a third-party candidate or independent candidate. I mean, he said the stakes were too high.
Stakes were too high, and Democrats firmly believe that a third-party candidacy re-elects or elects once again Donald Trump. You know, looking at Biden here, you've got to consider. I haven't been able to go back and count each and every one, but I believe this may be his 50th State of the Union address, and he's been in the chamber.
And he would be proud of that, by the way. Senator Coons, Senator Coons, Senator Gillibrand, Republicans and Democrats welcoming here to the center aisle. We always like to see that. Rachel Scott, you're in the chamber. So far, so good.
So far, so David, so far. And look here, the coveted seats here are along the aisles. That's where you're seeing members sort of rush to the aisles to try and greet the President of the United States. Notable on the Republican side, you saw some of the most conservative, right-wing members of the House. Congressman Matt Gaetz, Congressman Tim Burchett, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene trying to get the president's attention, to shake his hand, possibly deliver a message that they want the president to share tonight. You're hearing these chants now of 4 more years from Democrats tonight.
No more years. No more years. No more years. No more years. Not 4 more years. No more years.
What is at This is very much also about making an appeal to the American people in a very critical election year where he will be likely facing off against former President Donald Trump, David.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson there, greeting the Chief Justice John Roberts as well. President Biden. Of course, they have a major decision, Justice Kagan there as well, a major decision looming here. In the next couple of weeks, they'll begin hearing arguments in Donald Trump's federal January 6th case, the election interference case, and whether or not he has absolute immunity. Judge Gorsuch, Judge Kavanaugh, both with smiles on their faces, greeting the president as we would expect. But it's always nice to see in these deeply polarized moments in our country when so far things play out the way they're supposed to. There's a former House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, and we'll stick with the president here, but we did see Nancy Pelosi talking with Mitch McConnell on the air tonight. Sort of a signal there, John Carl, of a changing guard. Nancy Pelosi obviously out of the speakership for a time now, and Mitch McConnell revealing that he will step down as leader.
I mean, what a changing of the guard, seeing the two of them, really two of the most powerful figures in Congress over the last half century. McConnell and Pelosi both making their marks in huge ways. Pelosi with healthcare and with all that President Biden got from Congress in his first 2 years. Mitch McConnell, the longest Senate leader in history, 17 years.
And it was nice to see McConnell and Pelosi engaged with one another. You know, they had a discussion. Yeah, and they did.
And by the way, they were together on January 6th as the Capitol was attacked, and they were evacuated, working to get Congress back in session and restart the certification of the presidential election.
The president is taking his time. He even joked with reporters off the record today that, you know, my own staff knows I feel very much at home up on the Hill.
And that shows here tonight, absolutely. And they think that will also play to his strengths here as he does deliver what is expected to be a very, very important speech.
Let's listen to Speaker Mike Johnson plays his role. Handing the Speaker the speech, handing the Vice President the State of the Union address as well.
I'm a $5.
Good evening.
Talking about.
Good evening. Are smart. I go home.
Tonight.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, my fellow Americans, in January 41, Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation, and he said, I address you at a moment unprecedented in history. It was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy.
He called himself
Tonight,
FDR.
I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face up that moment in the history of the Union. And yes, I purpose to American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as there are today.
Stop the bullshit.
What makes our moment rare
democracy.
is the freedom of democracy. We're under attack both at home
ain't never been
and
no
overseas. At the very same time,
Putin
of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine, and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond.
Especially for black
If
people.
anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not.
Oh, God. Here we go with the boogeyman. He's pretty bad, Russia. What is that? You got to go. You and the whole got to go.
Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine
Fuck
and
Ukraine.
provide the weapons.
Fuck Ukraine.
That means the
Fuck Ukraine. The fuck? Are you fucking serious? Fuck Ukraine.
They're not asking for American soldiers. In fact, there are no American soldiers in the war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership.
This fucking war, guys. Like,
Well, so long ago, Mr. Tear down this wall.
Fuck out of here.
Now,
Put this gun in.
a former Republican president tells Putin, quote, do whatever the hell you want. A former president actually said that. I think it's dangerous and it's unacceptable.
I think you flooding the fucking border is outrageous. The fucking illegal immigrants, terrorist, potential terrorist cells. I think that's fucking ridiculous.
America is a founding member of NATO.
Oh my God.
The military alliance of democratic nations created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. Welcome Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning, Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight.
Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. Fucking Danish, the Swedish, the Swedes, the Finns.
They know how to fight.
The fucking Nova Scotians, guys, or the Scandinavians.
Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen.
You
Ukraine
to eat off the
Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away.
You will not walk away like you would, that you said. He wasn't going from Iraq. Fuck out of here. This shit is already irritating me, y'all. I'm kind of glad it's crazy.
We will not bow down. I will not bow.
You need to sit your ass down. That's what the fuck you need to do. Sit the fuck down, Sleepy Jim Crow. Okay, it's grandkids.
History is watching. History
Yeah,
is
history
watching.
is watching. It's
Just
watching
like history
you,
watched 3 years ago.
Tax dollars on fucking illegal immigrants. Yep,
on that
history
darkest
is
of
watching.
days.
Sleepy Jim Crow.
We
Yeah,
all
they-
saw with
history
our own
is watching.
eyes. These Christians were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peace of power. Dover Sturple. January 6th. Lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election.
All I know is I went to sleep.
A gravest threat to U.S. democracy
next morning, they said all
since
these
the Civil War. But they failed.
They declared this bastard the winner.
America stood strong and democracy prevailed.
Oh my God, this ain't no fucking democracy. This is an authoritative regime. What the fuck this is. And a bunch of damn hypocrisy. Damn it, computer. Computer froze up. Are y'all still with me? The light's still on, so. No, it's still, but y'all can't hear it. The internet is acting stupid. Video don't froze. I didn't even pause it. What are they clapping about? Stupid motherfuckers. Sorry, y'all. I'm having technical difficulties. Internet keeps freezing up on me. Exactly. He is crazy, Deacon. Rabbit ass mind. Reproductive freedom. Motherfucker. Ooh, gotta get Joe and the hoe out. They got to go. No, it was foundational Black Americans that sent you to office, Jim Crow. Now he's trying to put it on everybody. The fuck out of here, Jim Crow. It was you, the American people, that sent me. No. It was the African American community that stood up for me. Y'all back like you had mine. Yeah, we see how that worked out. And if you don't see it, I don't know what else to tell you. Exactly, Russia is not messing around, Deacon. Exactly. He is about to get us nuked. Just stupid shit. Oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. This damn internet is just stupid. I mean, y'all can probably hear it on the TV, but I was trying to have it where you could hear it on the StreamYard and see it at the same time. This bastard just sit up there, line.
America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities.
Can you hear it, Deacon?
Not the top down. Investing in all Americans, making sure everyone has a fair shot. We leave no one behind.
Except Black Americans. That's who you leave behind. You're talking about we leave nobody behind. That's a goddamn lie. Oh my God. America goes and robs, rapes, and pillages everywhere. That's what America does.
The economy's on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world.
How is our economy the envy of the world? He's lying like a motherfucker. Have you seen the price of whatever the fuck? What is he talking about? Brexit is about to come online. Really? Our economy is the envy of the world? Come on. Sleepy Jim Crow, stop it. Stop the cap. I'm trying to find another video for y'all because the internet has stupid blacks and Hispanics. Here we go with this broad and biggest lumping us all together.
I inherited an economy is on the brink. Now our economy.
Okay, I gotta rewind this so y'all can.
Stop Putin. Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the that needs to defend itself. That is all. That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers. There are no American soldiers in war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Now,
yeah, that was back in '88.
Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable. America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations, created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. Welcomed Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning, Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight. Come here, stand up. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill. History is literally watching. History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm. President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away.
Yeah, just like you didn't walk away from
we will not bow
Afghanistan.
down.
Just like you didn't walk away from Iraq.
I will not bow down.
You need to sit down. You need to sit your old ass down somewhere.
And the world says history is watching. History is watching.
Yeah, history is watching.
Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th.
But American citizens.
When insurrections stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy. Many of you are here on that darkest of days. We all saw with our own eyes the insurrection. They've come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plot to steal the election.
It said Biden was up
a great,
in the polls.
Gravest threat to democracy since the Civil War.
And all these mail-in votes that came in overnight.
They failed. America stood. America stood strong, and democracy prevailed.
Goddamn democracy.
We must be honest.
Hypocrisy.
The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies. Here's the simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win. As I've done ever since being elected to office, I ask all of you without regard to party to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of foreign and domestic.
Well, we need to get the domestic one started.
Respect free and fair elections. Restore trust in our institutions.
Free or fair about any of this.
Make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America. Zero. Again, it's not hyperbole.
It is
hyperbole. History is watching.
It's hyperbole. It's
watching.
Hypocrisy.
Your children and grandchildren read about it. History is watching another assault on freedom. Joining us tonight is Latoya Beast, social worker. 14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF. She scheduled treatments to have that second child. The Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. Family should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer. Guarantee the right to IVF. Guarantee it nationwide.
You motherfuckers advocating for murdering your babies. Do you understand what's going on?
You got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending
you and that hoe
freedom.
Must go.
And so much more.
Joe and the hoe must go.
My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason for return, and he brags about it.
The viewers, make sure y'all like and
look at the chaos
Black News on
that has resulted.
Facebook.
Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus with a fatal condition.
Check this out tomorrow.
Her doctor told Kate
with Shabaka in the Chase.
that her own life,
this bullshit you're hearing now.
And her ability to have future children in the future were at risk if she didn't act.
30 minutes.
Because Texas law banned her ability to act. Kate and her husband had to leave the state what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well. But it's happening in too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Supreme Court majority wrote the following. With all due respect, women are not without electoral power.
30 million?
Excuse me, electoral or political power.
At least 30 million.
You're about to realize just how much it's right. Clearly. Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
No, you're not. 6-year-old senile with a couple of ass.
If you, the American people, send Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again. Folks, America cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward.
Can't go back to what? Sleepy Jim Crow?
Because I know how far we come.
How far
4
have
years
we
ago
come, Jim
next
Crow?
week, before I came to office,
How far have black
country
people
was
come, Jim
hit
Crow, since you've been in office?
by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses. Remember the spikes in crime.
Oh,
and
we
the
remember
murder
the fear.
rate,
Remember the
raging
fear
violence,
mongering from
took
you
more than 1 million
and
American
your
lives.
Democratic shield.
Loved ones,
That's the fear we remember.
the mental health crisis, of
That
isolation,
anybody
of
but
loneliness.
Trump bullshit.
President, my
Oh, we just
predecessor,
can't have another 4
failed
years
the
of
most
Trump.
basic
Yep, that's the fear. Yep, that's the fear we remember. Yep, the fear mongering.
Care. I think that's unforgivable. I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. We have. It doesn't make news, but in the news in the cities and towns, the American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told.
All kinds of tomatoes thrown at him. Somebody please put some tomato emojis in the chat.
So let's tell the story here. Tell it here and now. America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down. Investing in all America,
Oh my God.
in all America,
Bottom up.
make sure everyone has a fair shot.
Jim Crow,
no
Biden,
one,
when the
no
fuck
one
have you
behind.
given a fuck about the bottom?
The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer. Get back and to come back. That's what America does. That's what America does. Folks, my inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of jobs and employment. Record 16 million. This is an act of hope. Historic job growth, small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans. 800,000 new manufacturing jobs.
You can believe this shit gonna fly again? Sleepy Jim Crow? No.
Where's the written we can't are we?
So you
and now imported product in American jobs. We're exporting and creating American jobs. Right here in America, where they belong.
Oh, now you want to talk like a dump. Now you're talking like a dump.
Time, but the American people feel it. Consumer studies show consumering. Buy America has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my predecessor, maybe some Democrats as well in the past, failed to buy America. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects like helping build American roads, bridges,
What are you talking about?
highways will be made with American products and built by American work.
You would have been doing this since fucking the pandemic started. So what the fuck are you
Creating
talking
good paying American jobs.
You really think you're gonna sell us on this shit for a second time? Fuck you.
The United States is investing more in research and development than ever before. During the pandemic, semiconductors, chips that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles, and those chips right here in America.
Yeah, it was a black man. His name was Mark Dean.
Private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree. In fact, $60 billion in private sector investment in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America.
And how many of those jobs went to black people?
And thanks. 46,000 new projects have been announced all across your communities. By the way, some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. I like it. I'm with you. I'm with you. If you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernize our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink water without risk.
Where? Fucked up in Michigan. Where? Cancer Alley. In Louisiana, the water's still fucked up. Where? Jim Crow, Mississippi.
No matter where you live.
Fucking Jackson, Mississippi, the water's still fucked up. Where?
Record investments in tribal communities because of the family farm. Because I invested in family farms led by my Secretary of Agriculture, who knows more about this than anybody I know.
Secretary of Agriculture.
We're better able to stay in the family for the children and want to leave home to make a living. It's transformative.
There's always a raccoon.
Great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois, home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared life.
That's one black person. I'm doing something for
And I was elected to office, and we raised the Belvedere repeatedly with auto companies, knowing unions would make all the difference. UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, the new state folks, the folks in Belvedere, I say, instead of your town being left behind, your community is moving forward again. Because instead of watching auto jobs in the future go overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvedere, right here in America. Here tonight is UAW President Sean Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Sean, where are you? Stand up. And Dawn Sim, a third generation worker, UAW worker at Belvedere. Sean, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line. And today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride and dignity as well. Showing once again, Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. And unions built the middle class.
No, Sleepy Joe. No. That is a blatant fucking lie. You know it, Jim Crow. Look, you know what the hell built this goddamn country? Slavery. Chattel slavery. The jure slavery. That's what built this country. Like, this is the type of shit. This is why we have Frontline Black News, so we can debunk this topic from these Democrats.
I say to the American people, when America gets knocked down, we get back up. Keep going.
You keep going, all right. You keep going through it.
That's you, the American people. Because of you, America.
It's anti-black hatred. That's, yep. You get up and continue to go and
because of you,
and practice that.
And tonight, we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger.
No, the fuck it's not. These are blatant lies, bro. These are blatant lies. No more years. No more years.
Tonight,
no more years. No more
tonight,
years.
I want to talk
no
about
more
the future
years.
of possibilities that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over, and the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the United States combined. And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation.
No,
but I grew up
all the time
in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table.
That's
why I determined to.
You know, this motherfucker, he descends from slaveholders, right? Delaware was one of the first fucking colonies, the 13 colonies. This motherfucker come from old money. So what the fuck he's talking about is irrelevant because his family had money. It's not like they started off broke. These motherfuckers had money. They've had money for a long time. So don't let him try to fool you with this. My daddy, he had to work hard for me and my family to provide for him and his family. Get the fuck out of here, Sleepy Jim Crow. We know your whole history with Eastland, fucking Storm Thurman, all that shit. You straight out the fucking Klan. Get the fuck out of here.
Brown, so middle class does well. When they do well, the poor go way up and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well.
Oh,
and there's
Lord,
more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing.
Lift all bullshit. It's just a lift all, what was it called? Lift Every Voice, part 2. Fuck out of here.
Pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong.
That only applies to people that are like and up, Sleepy Jim Crow. What the fuck does it have to do with people that are 50 and under? What the fuck are you gonna do for people that are 50 and under? What are you gonna do for black people? The fuck are you talking about, Joe?
And I'm ending it. For the law that I proposed and signed, not one of your Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin, with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make. They only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit. And I want to. So what to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin $35 a month for every American that needs it. Everyone.
That's a lift all. That helps everybody. It's not specific for Black people.
For years.
Very close.
People talked about it. Finally, we got it done. Gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money.
You treat the veterans horrible. What the fuck are you talking about?
You're saving taxpayers money.
Out here.
We cut the federal deficit by $160 billion. Because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market to treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. It's now time to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade. We're making a lot of money, guys.
Yeah, you know who else is making a lot of money?
And they'll still be extremely profitable. Will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another
of our black bodies.
$2 billion. Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $200 to $2,000 a year. Even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. I want to cap prescription drug costs of $2,000 a year for everyone. Folks, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get in Air Force One, then fly to Toronto,
Air Force
Berlin, Moscow. Excuse me. And even Moscow, probably. And bring your prescription with you, and I promise you, I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug,
Deacon, are you
same
still here?
price. Folks, the Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare, it's still a very big deal. $100 million of you can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing condition. But my predecessor, many in this chamber, want to take
the other 250 million?
Affordable Care Act.
What are you talking about?
I'm not going to let that happen. We stopped you 50 times before we will stop you again. In fact, I'm not only protecting it, I'm expanding it. It's $800 per person per. Reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent.
You know what you should make permanent? Our motherfucking reparations. That's what the fuck you should make permanent.
State the obvious. Women are more than half our population. But research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research.
Really?
Led by Jill.
It's been underfunded. No, y'all use our women as guinea pigs to test out all your shit. That's what you did. And you still do it. You still use our women as guinea pigs. What the fuck are you talking about? So they really think we're stupid, guys.
Oh, doing an incredible job as First Lady.
She was doing a wonderful job. She would have told your ass to sit the fuck down somewhere.
Pass my plan for $12 billion to transfer women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America. I know the cost of housing is so important to you.
No shit.
Inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down
No, the
as well.
fuck is not. How the fuck is the cost of a house
But I'm not
coming
waiting.
down? That's a goddamn
I want
lie.
to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first
that ain't
home,
even paying a
or
third
trade
of
up
their
for a little
mortgage.
more space.
They ain't even paying
Just
a
for
fourth of their
2
mortgage.
years.
$400 a month. Fuck out of here, sir. The fucking average mortgage in Denver, Colorado is like $3,600
And my
a
administration
month.
is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters, we're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now, that's $2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down.
Where are they going down, Joe? There.
To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And I suspect all of you, want to give every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. You know, I think I pointed out last year that children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten, or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2 and 4 year degree, no matter what their background is.
I really like to see the statistics on that because I spoke to Blacc too.
I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable. They were mad that they were angry. I said, well, they were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education. I pointed out to them as vice president over I think it was 182 those folks. Don't hold me the exact number.
Oh my fucking God.
And I asked them what they need most. The CEO.
Yes, about.
You've had the same experience both sides.
John Lewis.
Better educated workforce.
John Lewis.
Right? So I looked at it and I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world.
You're in trouble. Fuck.
And every new for that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade. I'm also connecting local businesses and high schools so students get hands-on experience and a path to a good paying job, whether or not they go to college. And I want to make sure the college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, including the Hispanic institutions.
See how you pigeonholed all them other groups in? Nothing specifically for Black people. Nothing.
I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which you dealt with student loans. I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service.
4 million, Joe.
Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you? Keenan, thank you. He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college.
See,
now he's able to help
right
get his own daughter to college.
For Black people.
And folks, look.
Like, you know, too, anyway.
Such relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family. While we're at it, I want you public school teachers a raise.
Keep the same bullshit. That's all teachers are. They just repeat the same shit over and over and over and over and over again.
By the way, the first couple of years we cut. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. Over $1 trillion.
Oh,
I signed the bipartisan deal.
36 trillion.
Cut another $1 trillion in the next step. It's my goal to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share.
I don't want nothing either. You know how this is clapping about this shit. Like,
I'm a capitalist.
What you need
you want
to
to make
do
it
is
to make
cut
a
the
million
debt
or
that you owe
millions of
us.
bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes.
And just pay us our fucking reparations. And
A
then
fair
we'll pay
tax
fair
code
taxes.
is how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense, and so much more. But here's the deal. The last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut. Overwhelmingly benefits the top 1%, the very wealthy, the biggest corporation, and exploded the federal deficit.
Going for you with this bullshit.
They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history. Check the numbers. Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair?
We definitely gonna check the numbers.
Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break?
No, we need all that reparations.
I sure don't.
A tax break?
I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan,
neither one of y'all motherfuckers talking about that.
Nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay additional penny in federal taxes. Nobody, not one penny. And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half. Restore that child tax credit.
Not black poverty.
No child should go hungry in this country.
Black child poverty.
The way to make the tax code fair
but they do.
is to make big corporations and very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America paid $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 50%. But that's still less than working people paying federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%. So every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share. Also want to and tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private checks, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million. $1 million that can be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse. minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get what they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine a future of home care and elder care, and people living with disabilities, so they can stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors. Many of my friends on the other side of the aisle want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security, Medicare, or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people. The working people who built this country pay more to...
They're talking about white people. This is all code speech.
Social Security the millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go.
You're a billionaire.
Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh no. You guys don't want a $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion from the super wealth. That's good to hear. I'll protect and strengthen Social Security and make the wealthy pay their fair share. Look. Too many corporations to pad the profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations engaged in price gouging and deceptive pricing, from food to healthcare to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer. Same size bag. No, I'm not joking. It's called shrinkflation. Pass Bobby Casey's bill and stop this. I really mean it. You probably all saw that commercial on Snickers bars. You get charged the same amount, and you got about, 10% fewer Snickers in it. Look, I'm also getting rid of junk fees. Those hidden fees at the end of your bill that are there without your knowledge. My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8. Banks and credit card companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection. And that's more a hell of a lot like $8 and 30-some dollars. They don't like it. Credit card companies don't like it. But I'm saving American families $20 billion a year junk fees I'm eliminating.
We got our rights as well.
Too. Folks at home, that's why the banks are so mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there.
Trying to bring me on the
My administration proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers so there are no surprises. It matters It matters. And so does this. In November, my team began serious negotiations with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen.
He's a damn liar.
Oh, you don't think so?
Yeah. How the hell, what was it, the former head of the Border Patrol said he never met with him or Kamala Harris this whole freaking time, the whole time they've been in office. This is a fucking lie. But that's what these Democrats do. And they tell you vote for the lesser of two evils. Why would you want to vote for evil?
Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now. What are you against? 100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying no, look at the facts. I know you know how to read. I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win, he viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him, it's not about me.
That shit in California.
I'd be a winner.
So the illegals is not the police in California.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth it taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly.
His hard to the family.
Folks,
you just allow these motherfuckers to become the police.
I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now.
No, we need to get that bill done. What's going to do about the motherfuckers that's already here?
And if my predecessor is watching,
we don't need it now.
Instead of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together. But that's what here's what he will not do. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I will not separate families. I will not their fate. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. secure the border, provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, and so much more. But unlike my predecessor, I know who we are. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, and ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home from every place on earth.
Black Americans.
They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee persecution. To chase dreams that are possible anywhere but in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all American.
No, we do not all come from somewhere. Goddamn lie. That's bullshit. That's major bullshit, y'all. Don't fall for that bullshit.
Look, folks, we have a simple choice. We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it. I'm ready to fix it. Send me the border bill now.
After damn near 4 years, you're ready to fix it. Fuck out of here, Biden. You caused this shit, now you're talking about
transformational moment in history. Happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama. Hundreds of foot soldiers for justice marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named after the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, to claim their fundamental right to vote. They were beaten, they were bloody, and left for dead. Our late friend and former colleague, John Lewis, was on that march.
Fuck John Lewis.
We miss him.
Rest in major piss and shit to John Lewis. That's not somebody that black people need to be looking at.
Right. Our other marchers, both in the gallery and on the floor, including Betty Mae Fikes, known as the voice of Selma, the daughter of gospel singers and preachers. She sang songs of prayer and protest on that bloody Sunday to help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The foundation of Black Americans is the moral compass of this country, this corporation, if you will. Without us, there is no compass. There is no measurement on it. It doesn't exist.
59 years later, our force has taken us back in time. Voter suppression, election subversion, unlimited dark money, extreme gerrymandering.
Why gotta be
John Lewis was a great friend to many of us here. But if you truly want to honor him and all the heroes that marched him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act.
Fuck John Lewis. Man, this is horrible, buddy.
And stop the core value of America, our diversity across American life. Banning books is wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history. I want to protect fundamental rights.
No, you don't.
Pass the Equality Act. And my message is transgender America. I have your back.
That got to do with us. The fuck this video has to do with us. God. I ain't heard
raise
nothing
the
black
federal
specific
minimum
yet.
wage, because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour.
Many white people, white workers.
We're also making history by confronting the climate crisis, not denying it. I don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis.
Oh my God! Here we go. Bullshit.
I'm taking the most significant action ever for our climate in the history of the world.
Pro with the bullshit.
I'm cutting our carbon emissions in half by 2030, creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs like the IBW workers building and installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations.
In 6 years, Joe, you won't even be alive to see it.
30% of America's lands and waters by 2030. taking action on environmental defense line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution.
Oh, now you give a fuck about pollution. You give a fuck about pollution when it was in our communities.
To put 20,000 young people to work in the forefront of our clean energy future. I'll triple that number in a decade.
Young white people. That's white people. Just more jobs. All you need is jobs.
To state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today.
Especially Black Americans.
The year before took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up.
Get them.
The biggest increase in history.
There's a heckler, yay!
It was there. Through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against.
Rescue us.
We made the largest investment in public safety ever.
For us.
Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history.
Oh my God.
Violent crime fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years. But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more community police officers, more mental health workers, more community violence intervention. Give communities the tool to crack down on gun crime, retail crime, and carjacking. Keep building trust as I've been doing by taking executive action on police reform.
You ain't been taking
calling for it to be the law of the land.
Police reform.
Breaking my law of classification of marijuana. You should be jailed for simply using or have it on their record.
Oh my God. That's the least you could do.
Take on crimes and domestic violence. I'm ramping up the federal enforcement of the Violence Against Women Act that I proudly wrote when I was a senator.
Yeah, you know
so
what
we
else
can
you proudly wrote as a
finally end the scourge against women in America.
Hold on, you know what else you wrote while you were senator? The 94 crime bill that locked up millions of black people, black men.
That part.
What are the kinds of violence I want to stop? Sister Jackie was murdered with 21 classmates and teachers in elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Very soon after
cowards
that happened, Jill and I went
sat
to
and watched get killed. Them motherfuckers, we did a whole show on that, Shabaka. Them motherfuckers, how long they waited hours before they went in to do anything.
Yes, sir.
We spent hours and hours.
They spent hours and hours. We heard their message. So everyone in this room, in this chamber, could hear the same message. Oh, Lord. As long as they
constantly
say
trained. I was there for hours, meeting with every family. They said, do something. Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House, with the Vice President leading the charge.
All of that is nothing burgers. And fuck you on that hoe.
Meanwhile, my predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote.
Like y'all tell us to just get over slavery.
I say, stop
just
it.
Get over it.
Stop it, stop it, stop it.
And I say, stop the anti-black hatred and terrorism. Stop that. But you're not going to do that, Jim Crow. You're just not.
I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years because of this Congress. We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Pass universal background checks.
I know, boring as hell.
None of this. None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. Too. None of this violates the Second Amendment or vilifies responsible gun owners. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East. I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, with Israeli people, the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual
nothing
violence.
About black people. Nothing
the deadliest
for black
day
people.
for the Jewish
If
people.
black people were mentioned, they were mentioned with other groups.
And 250 are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also on the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained around the world. Israel has the right to Hamas. Ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th. But Israel has Israel has a added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to Gaza. This war has taken a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocent women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighbors in rubble, cities in ruin. Families.
And what they're not telling you is Hamas is the legal Palestine.
Without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. Been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that will let all the prisoners released, all the hostages released, to get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelter. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day.
Okay, Shabbat, came back just in time for the end of this bullshit.
And Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire.
Welcome back, Shabbat.
They're announcing they're going to cross into northern Gaza. Leadership of Israel, I say this.
Everything else bullshit.
Protecting priority. As we look to the future,
like I said, nothing Black specific. The only time he said Black people, he put in on his other groups.
And I say this,
It showcased the token.
My entire career,
that's
no one has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you here. I'm the only American president of Israel, but there is no other path that guarantees Israel security and democracy. There is no other path that guarantees dignity. There's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all other states, including Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. I've ordered strikes to degrade the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel.
Oh, now you get to talk about the
For years, I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America is falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for when I wasn't president. America is right. Come to office a low point over a decade. And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices.
What are you supposedly lower?
We're standing up for peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits. I've revitalized our partnership
with Washington this year to get our goddamn jet.
Australia,
$400 billion.
South Korea. Because I've made sure advanced America can't do China. Frankly, all on China never occurred to my president. I want competition with China, not conflict. And we're in a stronger position to win the conflict. For that. I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills. There's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl. You don't want to do that, huh? Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online. Harness.
Yeah, protect your children.
Harness the promise of AI to protect us from peril. Ban AI voice impersonations and more. And keep our truly sacred obligation.
No, bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because now when it's just some stupid shit like he just did, they'll say, oh, it's AI that did it. Blame the AI. It isn't me. AI.
That's why some supported help with Dennis.
He owed the majority of the Congress.
I signed the PACT Act. One of the most significant laws ever. Helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers.
Oh, no.
Many of them don't come home.
What about Cancer Alley?
But we owe them and their families.
Yeah, how about the ones in Cancer Alley?
We owe it to ourselves.
Our boy, Archie.
Agency called ARPA-H. And remind us that we can do big things, like end cancer as we know it, and we will.
I believe it when I see it. But it won't be with you, Joe, because you and that hoe got to go.
Let me close with this. Yay!
No, not yay. Boo. Tomato, tomato, tomato. Look at his old ass trying to square up. You don't sit your old ass down somewhere.
I know you don't want to hear you, but I got to say a few more. I know. Like if I've been around. When they get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever.
Yeah.
I know the American story.
Clear that you're fucking
again and again. I've seen the conflict.
Yeah, they become clear, all right. Yeah, you definitely start seeing things a lot clearer.
Move America into the future.
At 82.
Freedom and democracy. A future based on core values that defined America.
What core values?
Decency.
No, those aren't core. No, if those are core values. Those come from Foundation of Black Americans.
To give hate,
that
no
damn
safe
don't come
harbor.
from y'all.
Other people my age see it. The American story of resentment, revenge,
the American story of slavery.
That's not me.
What American story?
I was born amid World War II.
You were born into a Dosos.
I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country.
No, it was Foundation of Black Americans that built this country. That's a goddamn lie. Goddamn lie. Slavery that built this motherfucking country. See, this is that shit. It's that shit, Black family.
As I'm here crossing
news, we give you that real.
And the Southwest, no other fuckers I didn't get these people here buying a small pots in.
It's really hard to hear you. It's really hard to make out what you're saying. It's kind of hard to hear you.
Okay, I will sign off.
Dr. King.
It's like a minute left. Oh, I guess it's yeah.
Career service. I left the law firm, became a public defender because my city of Wilmington was the only city in America occupied by the National Guard after Dr. King was assassinated because of the riots. I became a county councilman almost by accident. I got to state senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president of our first black president. Now president to the first women vice president.
Here we go with the symbolism. It's all symbolism. Keep the symbolism. And neither one of these must FBA, but he's toting them around, talking about the first black this, the first black that.
In my career,
was locking up black
I've been told I was too young. By the way, they didn't let me on the Senate elevators for votes sometimes. Not a joke. I've been told I'm too old.
You're 80 fucking
Whether
one
young
going
or
on
old,
82.
I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal.
You don't even know when your son was
deserves to be
killed.
treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I'll walk away from it now.
Yes, you do. You walk away from black people. You walk away from black people all the time.
Really
our issues, our concerns, our needs and wants. You don't have no time for any of that.
My fellow Americans, the issue facing
no
our
more
nation
years. No more years.
isn't how old we
no
are.
more years.
It's how old are our ideas. Hate, anger, revenge, retribution.
Your ideas are not young. They're very old.
But you can't lead America
and Jim
with ancient ideas. It'll only take us back. You lead America, the land of possibilities.
You
need a vision for the future and what can and should be done.
Where are you taking us back to, Joe?
Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending democracy,
This ain't a goddamn democracy, so.
I see a future where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away.
White people freedoms.
I see a future where the middle class finally has a fair shot, and the wealthy have to pay their fair share.
Goddamn middle class. What about the underclass? What about the lower class? What about that? What about the sub? The underclass. What about the underclass? What about us? Where do we factor into any of this? Oh, the middle class. There ain't no goddamn middle class. Either you're rich or you're poor. There is no in between no more. Them days are long over. There's no safety net. You can go from making $100,000 to living out a cardboard box in a matter of days, if not weeks. So what the fuck is he talking about?
Share in taxes. I see a future where we save the planet from the climate crisis and our country from gun violence.
I would love to see a future where we protect black life.
I see a future for all Americans.
Well, I want to see a future for black Americans, not all Americans. Black Americans specifically. This motherfucker able to lift all bullshit. Oh, we're gonna take care of everybody, and black people are gonna indirectly benefit. Fuck that. Them days are over, Sleepy Jim Crow.
I see a country for all Americans.
You and your whole must go.
I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people.
No, you don't.
You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there's nothing beyond when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
Goddamn you and the hoe. They must go. Joe and the hoe must go. Joe and the hoe must go. All right, what's your thoughts on that? What y'all think about that? Joe and that hoe must go. That bullshit. We didn't hear nothing about it. There was nothing named. Oh, let's help everybody and let's fund Ukraine. Let's people. Y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Stupid song. We're gonna have to end this now. But yeah, this is Nothing Burger. Anybody out here talking about we should go vote for Sleepy Jim Crow after that, you definitely need to have your head. No, because there was nothing less, nothing mentioned that was specifically for black people in that whole State of the City, State of the Union address. Nothing was specifically for black people. It was just the same old Democratic rhetoric that lift all, we help everybody, and that's going to indirectly help black people. No, fuck all that shit. No, you're not going to get away with that cop Molly shit. No. I mean, because whatever going to benefit society as a whole. No, bitch. No. Over time. Is on the road. Lady Chair's really, really sick right now. So yeah, keep Lady Chair in y'all prayers. And we will see y'all tomorrow for Grand Risings with Shabaka and the Chase at our regularly scheduled time of 8 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. 10 a.m. Central, and 11 a.m. in the East. And that call-in number is 516-418-596. So thank y'all for watching online. State of the Union address. Sleepy Jim. YouTube and Facebook, The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Facebook. Black empowerment. Continue to demand for the tangible for your vote. Peace.